Let's do it.
Beaming from Pacific Junction Hotel to Earth, Girth.
Yo, and welcome to TIFF. The boys from Latched.
Hello.
Hi.
So we'll go in a little circle, introduce yourself and what you contributed to Latch and what your role was in Latched.
Oh yeah, my name is Justin Harding, and I was the writer and co-director of Latched, and I was also co-producer.
And my name is Rob, and I'm also the co-director and co-producer of Latched.
All right. Latch is how would you describe it? It's a horror film.
Yeah, I guess
it's kind of
technically-
creepy.
Technically, it's a horror film, although I've been referring to it as a fantasy thriller. But we had a review that described it as a body horror comedy, which I actually liked. So I'm going to start describing it as a body horror comedy.
Okay.
Yeah, but
There you go.
it's essentially a horror film.
And describe what's happening in it.
So it's a story about a dancer, a choreographer who's on a weekend retreat with her toddler, a creative retreat to work out the choreography of a prestigious dance show. And while she's rehearsing in the woods, her child discovers what they think is a bat that is rotten and decomposed. Turns out it's not a bat, and it's certainly not dead. It's very much much more dangerous than they think.
Where did the inspiration come from this? Because you guys, your day jobs is reality TV. So this is kind of like a slightly different.
Yeah, which is kind of the reason why we do it, because we're very embedded in the factual documentary and reality TV area of television. I direct The Amazing Race. Justin's a producer on The Amazing Race, and he produces shows like MasterChef and Home to Win. So that's our everyday. That's our bread and butter. And film is really a passion for us to be creative and be artistic and tell stories and scare people, which is fun to do. So creating Latched was inspired by a photo that actually Justin found that was a hoax on some sort of Mexican horror website where they found they said it wasn't a Mexican website. They actually said they found a decomposed fairy in Mexico.
Oh.
And this photo was just so awesome. It was this cool little rotten mini human with wings, and it just seemed like such a interesting story to build a monster off of that, because people think fairies are these angelic little beings that sprinkle dust on you and make you have happy thoughts, but this thing looked gnarly. It looked scary and had teeth, and we actually found out recently in one of our reviews that fairies were actually angels in Christianity, were angels that came from hell. So we're like, oh man, what an amazing idea to make a film about a decomposed fairy coming back to life.
Yeah, because even the neighbor, he's like, that's just a bat.
Yeah.
When she finds the corpse or whatever, and I'm like, nah, it's not a bat, man. It's like, take the kid and get out. Like, that's not a bat.
Totally.
The blog where I found it, it was a story about this thing that they found, this mystical creature, and the pictures were great. But then all the comments on the story were people saying it's obviously a bat.
Yeah.
It's a bat. And everyone was saying that, and I was just like, oh my gosh, could you imagine finding that and someone telling you it's a bat? It was terrifying looking, and that's where the whole inspiration came from originally. And also the fact that my wife, who's in the film, is a professional dancer, and we knew we wanted to make something with her as a dancer in a genre film, and then those two sources of inspiration came together.
And it's your son, too.
That's right.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Didn't he?
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leading up to the film, I kept saying to the team, our biggest challenge is going to be working with Bowen, because he's 14 months old, and you can't control him. Like animals and puppets, you should avoid working with children. And it turned out to be the opposite. He was the easiest part of the whole production.
Yeah, he was a gem. We'd bring him out to the set. He would perform somehow exactly the way we wanted him to perform. And if he got sad or started crying, just naturally out of being bored or tired, we would still roll on it. And it was exactly the performance we would need to get for that moment, too.
No,
so it was really easy.
Yeah, he did a good job, so give him a high five.
Yeah,
So.
we will.
Yeah.
He's into fist bumps now, so we'll
Okay, fist bump then for Bowen. Does having the background, you mentioned like The Amazing Race and things like that, where you have to kind of balance tension and all those kind of things that are going on. Horror kind of depends on having that reality focus. Like, this is just a mom and her newborn son basically out in the woods, and so it's a really hyper reality. Like, you're in this. It's a lot different than like a Born Identity or some sort of action movie. Does that kind of play into it? That kind of give you that background?
This is as real as it gets. I mean, it's an actual mother. It's an actual son. So that dynamic you can't match. Bowen is not acting. Bowen is being himself. He's being as real as he can possibly be in that situation. And actually that's an interesting idea that we work in reality, and they are kind of crossing over a little bit, but Justin started in film. And film was always his big thing. When he was kind of growing up and going through school, it was all about making films. He's made so many films since he was a teen. I started in reality and factual, and it's actually like we're both kind of skipping over now. I'm going into film and in fantasy, and Justin's in reality. So they do sort of cross a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, they're actually in my experience, they're almost opposites, because on The Amazing Race, you can't even do a second take. You can't. They run through, you shoot it, and you get what you get. And there's something really exciting about that approach. With the films that Rob and I are doing, it's the almost exact opposite approach, where we storyboard everything. And we're not just capturing something in the moment. We're actually just executing a really well-planned storyboard. So we storyboard together, and so when we arrive on set, we're actually just executing our plan. And so it's very, very different, which is fun to mix it up.
And you also had an expensive score too for a short. That's kind of like, that's different. You don't usually get like a lot of like those kind of instruments and that kind of. Where did the inspiration for the score come from?
Well, Rob and I have another film out in the festival circuit right now that's been out for about a year in festivals called Cookie. And Cookie was touring with other films, and one of those films was The Smiling Man, which is on Crypt TV, and they got 10 million views right now on Crypt TV. And everyone knows The Smiling Man is a great film. The composer of that was at a festival that Rob and I were at in Hollywood, and we met him, and we knew his work. His name's Vivian Villani, who's in town. And we just approached him and said, hey, we know your work. You're great. We created a friendship with Vivian. And a few months later, when we had our film, we just knew the right guy. We knew his work. We called him up. We talked about what's possible. We weren't sure if it was realistic budgetarily. Could we make it work? But we worked out a deal that made sense. And that's how it all came together. And then Vivian he blew us away with
Killed it.
Yeah, he killed it. It was amazing. That was one of the highlights of the whole production for us.
We also wanted to approach this film as a feature. It's a short.
Yeah.
But we sort of approach everything as, we try to do it the best we can with the most amount of resources we have. And Vivian coming on board was a blessing. And doing an original soundtrack was a must, because that's what features do. And it's cool to keep true to that art. It's a completely different feeling. I'll tell you, man, sitting in that studio and hearing the 19-piece orchestra doing their work, and it was just, it blew Justin and I away. And we knew that from this point on, we will always have to have an orchestra doing their soundtracks.
It was a total game changer for sure. And that's how like Rob was saying, how we want to approach all elements of the production. Even our poster was painted by the most incredible artist who's designing monsters for Universal Studios. And so every single detail, we tried to bring a feature mentality to it, make it as big as possible, even in a short film format.
So why not then just do a feature then, or why do a short instead of a feature then, if that's the mentality then?
Well, I got two answers to that.
Okay, I figured you've been
We're doing a lot of head nodding here.
Yeah, I know. I figured this is an obvious
I think
question.
we segued you into that.
Yeah. I know. I look good, but you guys doing all the heavy lifting, man. I could just put the mic down and go get a sandwich.
There you go.
Rob and I work on so many projects that it's literally just a matter of us finding a block of time that we're available to do it. We have so many ideas for features, and it's always been like, oh my gosh, if we just had a week off, we wouldn't go on a trip to Mexico to scuba diving. We would actually just make a feature really low budget, sort of Mark Duplass style, like just do it. And we've been so busy for so many years on multiple shows that we're saying now that we're going to do our first feature in March or February. In February, we're going to do it. We're going to block off 10 days, and we're going to shoot our first feature. We've got the story, the script, we've got the location, the actors, we've got the money, we have everything. Now it's just a matter of us making sure we got the time, and we're going to do it. And it's called Making Monsters.
Okay, and is this another horror film as well, or horror light, or horror-ish?
It's definitely in the same horror genre. It's got the exact same DNA as Latched and Cookie, and Point of View is another film that we did. It's definitely horror, but it's the same style in terms of interesting suspense, interesting tension, but really funny, and very scary, very weird, and kick-ass.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. So is it part of the Boca Collective?
Yes. So Rob and I are the Boca Collective.
Yeah. So explain the philosophy behind that, because that's cool too.
Yeah, the collective is something that, Justin and I have been working together for so many years, and we've always, sitting in the edit suites or being out in the field, we've always dreamed about doing our own thing. So what we sort of put together was this collective, which is kind of a group of guys and girls who are the best of the best in the field, and the people that we've worked with in factual and documentary and commercial, and people that have all become our best friends and our family. And we sort of come together as a collective to do projects like this, to do projects like Latched. We filmed Latched with completely favors and all of our available resources, and we used friends and family, and we used Justin's cottage, and the people that live 2 doors down from Justin's cottage were our catering company, 3 Dicks and a Lawyer. A little shout Shout out to those guys. So it's really just pulling together a collective of people who are passionate about filmmaking, about creating content, and going out and actually doing it. Not letting any roadblocks come in the way, not letting money or financing get in the way. It's just putting our creativity out on a plate and doing it, basically. And that's what the collective is.
Do you find that the collective or that ethos kind of bleeds into the actual what ends up on the screen, knowing that it's like your wife and your son, and it's like the woman clearly has a connection with the kid, and it's a little bit more different than when just two actors are kind of shoved together?
Oh, in so many ways. The creature in Latched, his name is Jarrett. He's a dancer who dances with my wife professionally at the Toronto Dance Theatre. He also played the clown in Cookie that we did last year. And that's a perfect example. It's a collective of not only filmmakers, but of artists and dancers and writers and different people coming from different backgrounds to create art. We just want to put that in cinematic form. But yeah, so that's the idea, bringing people, and it definitely plays on screen because, I mean, literally in this film, you've got them performing together in the most intimate way.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get any closer to that. And I don't think you could even create a movie like this unless the people involved were family and friends and willing to go through it. And with Making Monsters, we're pushing that even further. The opening scene alone is pushing performance to an extreme level where I don't even know if we could even do this. I don't even know if it's illegal.
I think totally. I mean, either actually. Yeah.
I don't think you could ever do it with a union, or I mean, we're really pushing it.
I think everything we do with Boca is really just to make something special. You know, we're storytellers. Justin and I coming together as a partnership is a great story. Latched is an amazing story. You know, being a place where Justin grew up, in this cottage, and using all our friends and family. We just want to tell stories, and that's what Boca really is. It's finding a story and telling that story in the best, most cinematic way possible.
And within that, practically what we've done is we've been able to purchase equipment. We put together a full edit facility. We own our own cameras and lighting and sound gear and everything for the TV work that we're doing. And part of that collective is actually able to produce stuff like realistically, actually able to pump projects like this through our collective and do it all in one shot and do it on a very professional level. That's
such a missing element sometimes, is the idea of collecting your own gear. I know a lot of people, when they want to make an independent film or even a short film, they're scrambling either for time or for money and whatever, but it's just people always sometimes overlook that, and just the idea of collecting your own gear and getting that, because Kubrick did that as well, right?
Totally.
Where like, so that way then you're always ready to shoot, always ready to do something.
It's been the dream of mine forever, has been to not have to rely on anybody ever. If we have cameras,
that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
If we have cameras, we have lights and audio gear, we can make up an idea, and we can make up an idea with my wife or a friend or whoever's willing to do it, and we can literally just execute it, and we don't need to ask permission, and we don't need to go after money. We can just do it. But then by moving forward with that approach, everyone starts to jump on board, and the money ends up coming, and people come. But it gives you the confidence to say, we're just going to do it.
Yeah.
And then people jump on board.
And that's what people want. I mean, we're noticing people want to know that you're going to do it. You know, and that's when people start getting really interested. The fact that, you know, you say you're going to do it, you're going to follow through with it, and then making it happen, and that's what everybody's attracted to. So that's what we're setting out to do for sure.
I mean, we're talking during TIFF, right? So a lot of people will they'll say like, my next project is gonna be this, and my next project, and sometimes you don't hear back from them.
Yeah.
Right. And I understand there's money issues, there's all kinds of legitimate issues, but it's just like, man, that dude was so cool, or that dude that was so cool. Like, what happened to them? Like, why are they not making more stuff? Right.
Yeah.
And this way, at least you got the engine always kind of running.
Yeah.
Right.
We actually can't physically. We can't just. It's not in our DNA to say we're gonna do something and not do it. It's completely not. It's not. If we say we're gonna do it, we'll make it happen. One way or another, we have to make it happen.
Yeah.
You got to keep that momentum.
The traditional way is to have a short film and then go out with a script and talk to people about it and say, here's our script. We want to get this made. We're actually taking a bit of a different approach. We're just hoping to be back with a film. We're just gonna have a movie up here, not a script. You know, where by the time the script's ready to shoot, we're already rolling on day one probably.
It's kind of cowboy, I guess. In a way.
Well, it's just the way to do it. Other filmmakers like Mark Duplass and Swanberg, Joe Swanberg, and Rodriguez. These are the types of filmmakers that just have inspired us. Yep. And now the technology's caught up where anybody can do it. So our plan is to start now, and in a year from now, see if we can have a movie back here.
Yeah.
And we're gonna try to do it, and we're actually gonna do a whole behind the scenes thing of how we're approaching it too, because it's very interesting. Our plan is to shoot a film in 10 days and then watch that film on day 11.
Yeah.
By cutting the scenes each night. Because we read an article that's how Soderbergh does it now, and that's how Baby Driver was done. We're like, you know what, we're going to try it, we're going to document it, and if we fail, that's fantastic, because that's going to be great content.
Story. Yeah.
So it's a win-win.
It's also inspiring too, because I think people they still have this idea, like even like during like again we're here at TIFF, a lot of people still have this idea that you need like this huge crew and cameras and like permits and whatever, but there's a lot you can shoot and kind of do on the fly, on the run, and like
Absolutely.
That's why we like to create our own stories, so that we can. The stories are written for the materials that are available, and for a scenario that's realistic to execute. Yeah, for certain scripts, you need that. You need that money. You need all that crew and support. But this was written for Latched was written for my wife, my child, my property.
Yeah.
I literally, it was like, and Cookie, the same thing. We shot that at my sister's house during a weekend with family, my wife again, and a family friend. And that's how we're doing our feature.
I mean, it'd be great to do a feature with millions of dollars. It'd be amazing.
Oh yeah, I just want to wait.
We don't want to wait for it.
I'm not waiting 2 years.
It's such an exciting time in filmmaking, man, and especially in Canada, to pick up any format camera and go out and shoot something. I mean, it's such a good time to do it, and the people are responding. I mean, you can shoot something on an iPhone, and I know that's like a big thing now, but you can do it, and if the story's good, people are going to respond, and that's going to spawn your next film, and then your next film, and they're just going to get better and better and better. It's just to keep that momentum going.
It's just no risk too, because you're not investing someone else's fortune. So that with the low risk, you can take bigger risks creatively,
Big time.
and those bigger risks could lead to higher rewards, like gambling.
It is a gamble.
You might lose, but you might win, and if you're not gambling that much money, then who cares?
Yeah,
Just
well,
have fun
what are you
with
really winning? Yeah, exactly.
but you're betting on yourself,
Exactly.
right?
That's it.
Yeah, Kevin Smith was in an interview. This is several years back, but obviously he made Clerks for like I think 20 grand or 30 grand, super low budget, right? And then when he started getting Hollywood money, he found it made him lazier because then like when there'd be a problem or just like shoot 2 million at it, and then that'll make the problem go away. Like so he wasn't solving the problems. And when you're talking about like Soderbergh and Rodriguez, they're kind of still doing stuff raw and on the fly. And they're just adjusting and trying to figure things out, because that's what all filmmaking is, just solving problems.
More money, more problems.
We were at South by Southwest this year, and we were in Robert Rodriguez's studio. There was a big filmmaker brunch that we were invited to, and he talked about how he wants to do another film for $7,000, and then he's got that competition now where he's inviting filmmakers to come and do their films for $7,000. I love that approach, because I've always believed in that. You know, that like he says, spraying down your problems with a money hose isn't going to solve the problems creatively. Mm-hmm. It's the restraints that breed the creative solutions, and that's like where we thrive.
Yeah, where you get the old wheelchair to be the dolly shot and all that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And that's why this next film, that's why we want to document that whole process, because it is those problems that that need quick solutions that are going to be really interesting to people to see behind the scenes and to learn about.
Yeah, like Latched, we wanted to shoot everything on a Movi and have everything sliding and moving, and then at some point it wasn't really realistic for scheduling. We're like, oh, screw it, just do it all handheld.
Yeah.
So it's got like a certain handheld look now, which was just a product of a situation.
Solving a problem.
Yeah.
It was just a problem. Yeah, it's a problem that needed to be solved, and it actually gives it a look and a style that we like now.
But it works too when the woman's dancing, right? Because it's just as fluid as her movements are.
Yeah, and in those sequences, there's a mix, because one weekend we had the Movi, another weekend we didn't. So some of them, it's a Movi that's drifting, and other shots it's handheld. But whatever, you just throw it all in, and it actually creates its own style.
Yeah.
You just don't. We've just learned not to be too precious about it.
Yeah.
I've always said, it's more important that it exists as a piece of art than for it to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
It just exists. I mean, if we could work on this for the next 2 years. But we just wanted to get it out, and here it is in this festival.
And that's the other hard part too, is you eventually just gotta because you can keep doing like take after take, especially working with a child actor or whatever, and trying to get it right or whatever. And then, but at the same time, it's like, you know what, that's good enough. Then like he walked in the tree, we'll go with that scene.
Move on. Yeah.
Well,
that's exactly it. There's a point where you have to take the brush off the canvas and look back and let that art out into the world. And you just gotta keep moving.
Well, that's why Rob and I storyboard everything as well, so that when we're on set, we're not actually sitting there messing around.
Yeah.
We're not experimenting. We're literally just executing a plan, and we know, and we're just scratching off our literal storyboards, and sometimes we'll do animatics even, so it's really organized, and we're just out there just scratching it, moving on. What are we missing? And it's like a puzzle. You build and create your own pieces, and put it together, and that way we're doing everything in 1 or 2 takes.
It's insane how fast we move on set, man.
Yeah.
It's a whirlwind. People our crew just has to keep up with us. It's literally like the entire climax of Latched was shot 1 take.
Yeah.
Each scene. I mean, it was 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We were actually chasing the sunlight. We were where the sun was going to come up, and we needed to be dark. And we were one take, go, moving, one take,
We're
go,
losing
moving.
darkness.
Yeah, we were losing the darkness. Yeah.
But again, does this kind of get influence from the reality TV show and the stuff you guys are making, or like?
You know
'cause-
what? I can speak to that.
Yeah.
I, as a challenge producer on The Amazing Race, would have to oversee the challenges where you're in a pressure cooker scenario where there's zero room for error, and you have to be laser focused on something, and your sole focus is this thing. And I think that experience of being in these situations so many times, when the sun's coming up and you know what you need to do, you just can push through like a freight train.
Totally.
And so that's where the experience translates.
And we've learned that from so many amazing producers that we've worked with at Insight and at Buck and at Proper and Cream. Just these guys are just like focus on what's going on. No problems too big that can't be solved, and just push forward.
Yeah, I like being in that extreme pressure scenario where you
he thrives
cannot
in
make
it.
a mistake. I like it. That's actually where I come up. I'm actually bored until we get until everything's
Until we're
the crap's
behind.
hitting the fan. Then it's like, all right, now it's exciting.
Yeah, but I mean that's what kids do. Like when they imagine themselves on Game 7 and the NBA Finals,
right.
whatever, and the
Yeah.
clock's winding down. That's when you take the
That's-
shot,
that's
right?
it.
Like anyone can get an A in September, right? But
Yeah.
can you get an A in June?
That's exactly.
I
it.
mean, we're filmmakers, we're procrastinators, we're creative types. We don't like schedules. We just
Yeah.
we don't want to do our thing. But yeah, when that clock is ticking, man, is when the magic really starts to happen.
So last question. It's an important question though. Are we going to see the return of Bowen? Does he have an agent yet?
Bowen is a completely different person now.
Yeah.
It's been a year since we made this film. He's like a fully grown human at this point. So it would be great actually to put him back
he
in
thinks
film.
his name is Robot because he's named himself after his best friend, our robot vacuum cleaner.
Oh,
The
okay.
Roomba. So he thinks his name is Robot. He won't say his own name. What's your name, Bowen? Robot. So maybe he makes an appearance as some sort of an android.
Some sort of AI.
But he's turning 2 actually. What's the date today?
He's turning 2 in 2
He's turning
days.
2 in 2 days.
No, happy birthday, Bowen.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So we'll see.
All right. Thank you guys for sitting and talking to me about film, reality TV,
Absolutely.
doing it on the fly. We covered a lot in like 20 minutes. So
Yeah.
thank you guys.
Great.
Cool, thank you.
It's fun.